The teacher asks a question. Do you feel you have realized Brahman? Do you feel you are enlightened? It's a trick question. Because if the student says, yes, now I know Brahman, now I know who I am, the teacher will say, didn't you hear what I said? It is other than the known and other than the unknown. And if the student says, no, I'm sorry, I take it back, I don't know who I am, then it's failed. The whole goal was to know who you are. There's no way out of this. Either you're enlightened or you're not enlightened. If you think you're enlightened, well, you have not heard what was said. You cannot know Brahman. You cannot know the Atman. You cannot know pure consciousness. You think, I am pure consciousness, I have known it. Whatever you have known is wrong. And if you say, no, I don't know it, then you obviously failed because you're not enlightened. The goal was to become enlightened. Here's the question. Yadi manyase suvedeti dharam evapi nunam tvam vetha brahmano rupam yadasya tvam yadasya deveshvatanu mimamsyam evate manye viditam. The teacher asks, if you think I have known Brahman well, it's clear, confident, then you have known very little. You have known very little of that pure consciousness which is expressed in this universe. The language is very little expression that it has in the human body and little expression that it has among the gods. Basically, Brahman as the reality of this universe, you know very little of that. And I am pure consciousness, that also you have not realized clearly. If you say that I have known it, I have become enlightened, I realized it, you haven't. Then what do I do? Well, Brahman is still to be deliberated on by you. He says, Mimamsyam evate. So this word, Mimamsa, is an ancient word, a Vedic, it's what might be called Vedic hermeneutics, interpretation of Vedic texts. The Sanskrit meaning, the definition is Pujita Vichara, a reverential inquiry. It's reverence. When you hear reverence, it sounds like you have to believe it, faith. No, it's inquiry. You must inquire. One must grasp it, otherwise it doesn't work. So one must inquire. And yet the inquiry is not free thinking. It's not skeptical inquiry. What is free thinking? I will think using reason and wherever it leads me. No, not wherever it leads you. There is something being pointed out here. And we are expected to see that, what is being pointed out. So there must be that reverence, that what is said here is true. It is real. I'm trying to get it, what is being said here. And also not a skeptical inquiry. What is a skeptical inquiry? I know this is wrong, or more or less I have a feeling all this is wrong. I'm going to find out the defect in it. Not that kind of inquiry. The inquiry is, where am I? Why am I not realizing it? Where am I getting stuck? Ask those questions. Get it clarified. Mimamsa, pujita vichara, reverential inquiry into the teaching. And the teacher says, you have to keep on doing this. You have to listen again, and reason again, and question again. The student is, however, very confident. He said first, yeah, I've known it. And the teacher said, no, you haven't. You're wrong. Think again, inquire again. And the student again says, manye viditam. I think I've known it. And you can imagine the teacher raising his eyebrows. This guy is incorrigible. I keep telling him it cannot be known, and he keeps saying, I have known it. What do you mean I have known it? And the student says, wait, let me explain. And he gives a masterful answer in the next mantra of the second chapter. How have you known it? And the student says, Naham manye suvedeti nona vedeti vedacha yonas tadveda nona vedeti vedacha. The student says, I am not saying that I know Brahman. So you don't know it. But not that I don't know. I do know it, and I don't know it. What do you mean? And then the student confidently gets up and says, amongst us, all the other students, you can imagine all the other students scratching their head, what's going on here? He says, those amongst us, including you, O Master, and all the students, who have understood my statement that I do not know it, but I know it. They know it. So the students are scratching their head, what's going on here? But the teacher is very happy. The teacher is very happy. Teacher says, yes, this person has understood the teaching perfectly. See, what the student has done is masterful. He has basically repeated back the teacher's teaching. What was the teacher's teaching? It is other than the known, other than the unknown. Now, if he had just said, it's other than the known, other than the unknown, the teacher would have said, you are just quoting me. You don't understand what I meant by that. There's a beautiful incident, the great philosopher Wittgenstein, who is probably one of the leading philosophers of the 20th century. So, he had this way of teaching. He used to teach at Cambridge University. Basically, his teaching, when he was teaching, he was creating philosophy. It's not that he was reading a textbook and coming and teaching. No. He was questioning all that had gone on before him. He would stand in front of the students and he would struggle with it. Once his sister asked him, they were a brilliant family from Vienna, Austria. His sister asked him, why are you so intense, as if you're suffering so much all the time? And he said, you are like this person who is safe and sound in a mansion. Outside there's a storm. You don't see it. But you see outside there's a man who's bent like this against the wind, pushing against the wind. You don't see the wind. You don't feel the wind, the storm. You're asking, why is he walking like that? So he would do that. And he would teach. And whatever he would say, if and ask, did you get it? And somebody said, yes. And he would say, no, you haven't got it. The next class he would say, no, this is not what I said. Then one of the students was very, said, I'll catch him next time. And so he wrote down exactly what Wittgenstein said. And next class he repeated it back to Wittgenstein. And Wittgenstein said, no, I didn't say that. He said, sir, you said it. Here it is, exactly these words. Then Wittgenstein said, but you don't mean by those words what I meant by them. So the teacher can say to the student, if you just repeat back, it's other than the known, other than the unknown. Yeah, I said it. You are saying it, but you don't understand what is meant by that. Instead of that, the student put it in another way. From his own experience, he put it. What did he say? It is not that I do not know it. So it's not that I am not enlightened. I am. But it's not that I know it also. I cannot say that I know it because it's not an object of knowledge. But I cannot say that I do not know it because who is not aware of being aware? Clearly we are conscious. So now one might say, all right, I am also conscious. I agree I am conscious. So am I enlightened? No, because you can't say the other thing. You can't say the other one which the student said, unless you are enlightened, that I do not know it as an object. If you know it very clearly that I am pure consciousness, but it's not an object, it's not something that you can see or visualize or think about or express in language, then it might be that you are beginning to understand. And that kind of understanding and realization are the same thing. Somebody asked, what is the connection between intellectual understanding and realization? Is there a connection? There is. Is it the same thing? Not literally the same thing. There's a difference. There's a similarity and there's a commonality and a difference. What's the commonality and what's the difference? Understanding intellectually is not realization. But the deepening of that intellectual understanding is realization. Only with the condition that it should be translated into life also. It should be able to live it. Then it is realization. Then it's Jivan Mukti. But is intellectual understanding necessary in this path of knowledge? Yes, it is necessary. That is the path, in this path. Not much understanding may be necessary on the path of devotion. Practice is necessary. Not much understanding may be necessary in the path of meditation. Practice is necessary, and the practice itself will give you understanding later on. But here, you have to start off with clarity. Otherwise, this will not work for you. So the student says, I know, and I do not know as well. And the teacher catches what the student is trying to say. He's basically telling me what I taught him. It is other than the known and other than the unknown. It's literally the same teaching, but paraphrased. And it shows the student's native, inner, intrinsic realization. So the teacher is very happy. But then he sees all the other students scratching their head. What's going on? I know and I do not know. If you know it, then you don't know it. If you do, so the teacher says, let me explain to all of you. So he explains. The next verse is also very interesting. So look at the language. Language of paradox. Language of contradiction. Teacher says, or the Upanishad says, whichever. Yasya matam tasya matam na vedasa avijñātam vijānatam vijñātam avijānatam. Yasya matam tasya matam. The one who says it is not a matter of knowledge, that one knows. Who says I do not know it, that one knows. And the one who says I have known it, that one does not know. For avijñātam vijānatam, it is unknown, that ultimate reality, it is unknown to those who know it, and it's known to those who do not know it. That's the explanation. I'm sure that's very enlightening. I don't know what was the reaction of the students to that. Yeah. All right. So, why did this is a long discussion. Why did the teacher put that question, and what was the purpose of that question? After all, isn't it good that the student says, I know it? Why would the teacher contradict that? Why would the teacher doubt that? And the answer is that the Atman, pure consciousness, our self, is certainly not something to be known. But it's not something unknown either. Remember, it's other than the known and other than the unknown. It is your own very self. It is more than known. It is more than known. Sri Ramakrishna, when Vivekananda asked him, have you seen God? He says, yes, I have. As I see you, even more clearly. What is even more clearly? Did he need glasses? No. This Atman, our real nature, is the most obvious of all things. In fact, first this one and then anything else. Vivekananda says it is not something to be known. In a talk here in London he gave, he said, it's not something to be known, but you must not go away with the idea that it is unknown. It is more than known. It is first that is known, and indeed through that everything else is known. It is the light of all lights. That shining, everything else shines. By its light, everything here is revealed. So, this is all a way of trying to clarify. The commentator says that isn't it, what was the purpose? He says the teacher asked this question, Shishya Buddhi Vichalanartham, in order to shake the understanding of the student. So why would you want to shake the understanding of the student? Isn't it good that the student has understood? You are a teacher. No. In order to make it even more clear, even more firm. And he gives the example, the commentator gives the example of when you drive a pillar or a post into the ground. What do? You drive it in, you shake it, and then drive it in further. You maybe lift it up a little bit and drive it in further. Why are you lifting it out even if you want to drive it into the ground? Because you want to drive it in deeply, more firmly. So he questions the understanding of the student, shakes the conviction of the student, and the student replies with full conviction, and the teacher certifies, yes, you have got it. Now, really another even more dramatic turn will come. It seems very subtle. Some of you are looking puzzled. I know, if I know it, then I don't know it. If I don't know it, then I know it. What does it mean? If you just step out of the Vedanta society, there are hundreds, thousands of people passing by the street. They don't know it. If you ask them, do you know Brahman? They'll say, no. What are you asking? What are you talking about? So are they enlightened? They don't know it. Are they enlightened? No. This is an advanced teaching. It's meant for those who have studied Vedanta, done the analysis. Yesterday we did that. The experiential knowledge. So that analysis which you have done, you've done it thoroughly, you have a clarity about it, then this medicine is to be applied. That is what is meant by dropping the mind at the last moment. After clarity has been attained, remember there is a seed of the mind still there. If the clarity is clear, it's very, I get it it's very clear. It's still the mirror which is reflecting the truth. Now you have to drop the mirror. If the mirror has shown me my face, and I know my face is not that one and this one, my face is this one, not that one, not what I see, but that which is reflected in the mirror. Once I know that, I can happily dispense with the mirror. If I don't know it, if I think that is my face, now if I let go of the mirror, it's gone. Those who say, I've got clarity, but I must hold on to that clarity. No, you must not. What is holding on to that clarity is the mind. If you think that is the clarity, then its clarity has not been attained. The mimamsyam evate. Once again inquire. Until absolute clarity comes, I am in no way dependent on the mind. Can let go of the mind. The mind is like the mirror reflecting my face. My real face, my existence, this face does not depend in any way on the mirror or the reflected face. In the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna says something mysterious. I still have not understood the context, but I think I'm relating it to this one. I'm taking liberty. He says, if I keep on looking at my reflection in the mirror, people will think I am mad. There's no context there. Suddenly he said, at one point we must let go of the mirror. The reason we are hesitant to let go of the mirror, hesitant to let go of the mind, is somewhere deep inside we think we are the mind. After all the analysis which we did yesterday, I remember in Kankal, Haridwar, we were sitting with Ramananda Saraswati. We were sitting there. One young monk said that I am Brahman. At least that we must hold on to, isn't it? And the Swami said, that's what you must not hold on to. You must not hold on to that. All that we learned yesterday and the clarity we got, isn't that that's the knowledge, right? That's the payoff. That's what we must take away from this. That's what we must hold on to. And the Swami is saying, that's what you must not hold on to if you want to be enlightened. Why? That's the reflection in the mirror. It's very close, but it's still far away from the reality. It's still the mind. In Hindi, he said, "Wahi to pakad ke nahi rakhna hai." The student asked, "Aham Brahmasmi, pakad ke rakhna hai na, Mahatma ji? I have to keep on holding on to I am Brahman, right?" He says, "No, that's what you must not hold on to." But whom is he telling? The one who has got clarity, the one who has already immersed in Vedanta, not the beginner. The beginner says that I must listen carefully to the Vedanta teaching, right? And in the beginning itself, if the teacher says, no, that's what you must not listen to, then finished. Vedanta is gone. One must listen attentively. One must reason rigorously. And one must meditate sincerely. After that, once clarity is there. This is a very advanced teaching. Let go of the mirror and its reflection. All right.